I said to myself, what if you wrote a novel that brought the Vietnamese War to the United States? And what if in a...
You find him coming to the call to adventure very quickly in part 2, where Troutman comes to him and says, there's a mission for you. And he thinks about it for a second. There is that moment of hesitation or reluctance, but he does agree to do the mission. So he goes out in the end, determined to live, as he says, day by day. And you know that something has changed in him, though, because he now has incorporated something from the woman that he met along the way. He's wearing her Buddha symbol, and that takes you over into the third film. You now have a character who is trying to come to peace and has been affected by what's happened in the previous films and is the most reluctant that he's been in all of the films.
They've asked me to go in.
You're not gonna do it.
Yes. And I want you to come with me, John.
I put in my time.
What's that mean?
It means my war's over.
The motivation in number 3 that gets him out of the stage of reluctance is the subtraction from his world of the last surviving piece of his heart, so to speak, which is Troutman, this colonel who's been a mentor and a kind of a father to him.
Drop the weapons! You have no chance of escape! Drop your weapons!
He enters this new world and he encounters allies and enemies. There are figures there, these Afghani tribesmen on horseback that he has to deal with, and he has to sort of win them over and first of all determine if they are going to be helpful to him. He finds out that the Russians are very heavily involved, but these are classic hero tests. You have this motif, which is repeated again and again, of going into a literal underground. It's very classic in all the myths. The heroes are always descending into some kind of underworld, and he does go down there, and he has a variety of levels. That seems to be something that's important in this series, to descend to a certain level and then descend even deeper and meet more challenges down there. He's very badly wounded, a wound which would have killed any of us mere mortals. And he sort of has this godlike position where he is able to do surgery on himself.
Now we've entered deliberate mythology. Any semblance of reality has been left behind.
The choice is yours!
What do you say, John?
Fuck 'em.
Confrontations in part 3 are even bigger. I mean, this is a progression in the films, is that, you know, it's on a small scale of a town, and then it's going back to Vietnam and the camps, and then it's, you know, an entire war is being fought in the third one. So the two sides are polarized to their greatest extent. And then there's a very satisfying emotional moment at the end of passing the torch, as it were, to this young boy. It's a way of bringing the whole arc of all 3 stories around to a more hopeful conclusion.
Can you not stay?
I've got to go.
In this century, there have been only 4 times that a character in prose fiction has then been translated into the movies and has gone on to achieve a kind of world mythological reputation. And that would be Sherlock Holmes, Tarzan, James Bond, and Rambo. He was approached in such a way that he became a kind of metaphor for America.
I was actually fascinated by the progression of this character through these 3 films, because he became sort of a concentrated embodiment of the warrior spirit, which had been severely damaged by the Vietnam experience.
Honor, courage, loyalty, and sacrifice. And that sums up Rambo completely.
He's almost a godlike figure. He has superhuman powers, and yet he is uncomfortable in that place, somewhere between the world of the gods and the world of men.
I hope this doesn't start a cloudburst.